years ago.
The people are on holiday,
rejoicing in the military triumph of Julius Caesar.
Over his arch-rival, Pompey.
Some love Caesar. What others,
Pompey's followers,
Hate him.
an enemy of Caesar speaks.
You worse and senseless things. Canoe you not, Pompey. Many a time and oft have you climbed up to walls and embattlements, to towers and windows, yea, to chimney tops, to see great Pompey pass in the streets of Rome. And do you now strew flowers in his way that comes in triumph over Pompey's blood? Begone! Room to your houses, fall upon your canoes, and pray to the gods to intermit the plague that needs must light on this ingratitude. Go, I say, begone! See how they vanish, tongue-tied in their guiltiness. This way will I and drive the vulgar from the streets. These growing feathers plucked from Caesar's wing will make him fly in an ordinary pitch. Who else would soar above the view of men and keep us all in servile fearfulness?
Yet again.
Ha! Who cares? I hear a tongue shriller than all the music cry Caesar. Spake! Caesar is turned to hair.
Beware the Ides of March.
What on is that?
A soothsayer bids you beware the Ides of March.
Set her before me. Let me see her face.
You there, come from the throng, look upon Caesar.
What sayest thou to me now? Spake once again.
Beware the Ides of March.
She is a dreamer. Let us leave her. Pause!
Will you go see the running of the race?
Not I. I am not gamesome. I do lack some part of that quick spirit that is in Anthony. I'll leave you.
Brutus, I do observe you now of late. I have not from your eyes gentleness and show of love as I was wont to have. You bear too strange and too stubborn a hand over your friend who loves you.
Cassius, be not deceived. Vexed I am of late with passions of some difference. But let not therefore my good friends be grieved, among which number Cassius be you one, nor construe any further my neglect than that poor Brutus with himself it were, forgets the shows of love to other men.
Help me, good brother. Can you see your face?
No, Cassius, for the eye sees not itself, but by reflection, by some other thing.
'Tis just, and it is very much lamented, Brutus, that you have no such mirrors as will turn your hidden worthiness into your eye. I have heard where many of the best respect in Rome, except immortal Caesar, speaking of Brutus, and groaning underneath this age's yoke, had wished that noble Brutus had his eyes.
Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius, that you would have me seek into myself for that which is not in me?
Good brother, be prepared to hear. And since you know you cannot see yourself so well as by reflection, I, your glass, will modestly discover to yourself that of yourself which you yet know not of.
What means this shouting? I do fear the people choose Caesar for their king.
Aye, do you fear it? Then must I think you would not have it so.
I would not, Cassius. Yet I love him well. But wherefore do you hold me here so long? What is it that you would impart to me? If it be aught toward the general good, set honour in one eye and death in the other, and I will look on both indifferently. For let the gods so spade me as I love the name of honour more than I fear death.
Well, honour is the subject of my story. I was born free as Caesar, so were you. We both are fed as well, and we both can endure the winter's cold as well as he. For once upon a raw and gusty day, the troubled Tiber, chafing at her shores, Caesar said to me, "Darest thou, Cassius, now, leap in with me into this angry flood and swim to yonder point?" Upon the word, I plunged in, and bade him follow. So indeed he did. But ere we could arrive at point proposed, Caesar cries, "Help me, Cassius, or I sink." I, as Aeneas, our great ancestor, did the old Anchises bear, So from the waves of Tiber did I, the tired Caesar. And this man is now become a god. And Cassius a wretched creature that must bend his body. Caesar carelessly but gnawed on him. He had a fever when it was in Spain. And when the fit was on him, I did mark how he did shake. 'Tis true, his God did shake. I did hear him groan, and that tongue of his cried, "Give me some drink, Athenius, as a sick girl. Ye gods, it doth amaze me that a man of such feeble temper should so get the praise of the majestic world."
Caesar!
Another general shout. I do believe these applauses are for some new honors that are heaped on Caesar.
Why, man, he doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we petty men walk under his huge legs and peep about to find ourselves dishonorable graves. Men at some time are masters of their fate. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. Brutus and Caesar. What should be in that Caesar? Why should that name be sounded any more than yours? Write them both together. Yours is as fair a name. Brutus will start to spirit as soon as Caesar. Now in the name of all the gods at once, upon what mate doth this our Caesar feed that he is grown so great? Aids, thou art shame. Rome, thou have lost a breed of noble bloods. When went there by an age since the great flood, but it were famed with more than one man? When could they say till now that talked of Rome, that her wide walls encompassed but own man? Now, is it room indeed, and room enough, when there is in it but own only man? You and I have heard our father say, there was a Brutus once that would have broke the eternal devil to keep his state in Rome as easily as a king.
That you do love me, I am nothing jealous. What you have said, I will consider. What you have to say, I will with patience hear, and find a time both meet to hear and answer such high things. Till then, my noble friend, chew upon this. Brutus had rather be a villager than to repute himself a son of Rome under these hard conditions as this time is like to lay upon us. The games are done, and Caesar is returning. But look you, Cassius, the angry spot doth glow on Caesar's brow.
Casca will tell us what the matter is.
Antonius!
Caesar!
Let me have men about me that are fat, sleek-headed men, and such as sleep o' nights. Yond Cassius has a lean and hungry look. He thinks too much. Such men are dangerous.
Fear him not, Caesar. He's not dangerous.
Would he were fatter, but I fear him not. Yet if my name were liable to fare, I do not know the man I should avoid so soon as that spare Cassius. He reads much. He is a great observer, and he looks quite through the deeds of men. He loves no plays, as thou dost, Anthony. He hears no music. Seldom he smiles in such sort as if he mocked himself. Such men as he be never at heart's ease once they behold a greater than themselves, and therefore is he very dangerous. Come on my right hand for this year's death, and tell me truly what thou thinkst of him. Casca!
Tell us what hath chanced today that Caesar looks so sad.
Why, there was a crown offered him. And being offered him, he put it by with the back of his hand, thus. And the people fell a shouting.
What was the second nice for?
Why, for that too.
He shouted thrice. What was the last cry for?
Why, for that too.
Was the crown offered him thrice?
Aye, Mary was't. And every time he put it by. Every time gentler than the other. And with everybody, boy, my honest neighbour shouted.
Who offered him the crown?
Why, Antony. I saw Mark Antony offer him a crown, one of these coronets. And as I told you, he put it by once. But, for all that, to my thinking, he would fain have had it. Then I offered it to him again. He put it by again, but to my thinking, he was very loath to lay his fingers off it. Then I offered it a third time. Oh, I put it the third time by, And even as he refused it, the rabble hooted and clapped their chapped hands, threw up their sweaty nightcaps, and uttered such a gale of stinking breath, for Caesar had refused the crown, that it almost choked Caesar, for a swoon and fell down at it. For mine own part, I durst not laugh, for fear of opening my lips and receiving the bad air.
What? Did Caesar swoon?
It fell down in the marketplace, foamed at mouth, and was speechless.
'Tis very like he hath the falling sickness.
No, Caesar hath it not. But you and I and honest Casca, we have the falling sickness.
What said he when he came unto himself?
When it came to again, it said, if he had done or said anything amiss, he desired their worships think it was his infirmity. 3 or 4 wenches, where I stood, cried out, Alas, good soul! And forgave him with all their hearts. But there's no heed to be taken of them. If Caesar had stabbed their mothers, they'd have done no less.
And after that, he came thus sad away.
Aye,
Did Cicero say anything?
aye, he spake Greek.
To what effect?
Those that understood him nodded their heads and clucked their tongues. But for mine own part, it was Greek to me.
Will you sup with me tonight, Casca?
Aye, if I be alive, and your mind hold, and your dinner worth eating.
Good. I will expect you then.
Do so. Farewell, both.
For this time I will lead you. Tomorrow, if you please to speak with me, come home to me, and I will wait for you.
I will do so. Till then, think of the world. Well, Brutus, thou art noble still, yet who so firm that cannot be seduced? If I were Brutus now, and he were Cassius, he should not humor me. I will this night, in several hands, in at his windows throw, as if they came from several citizens, writings, all tending to the great opinion that room holds of his name, wherein obscurely Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at. And after this, let Caesar seat him sure, for we will shake him, or worse days endure. Who's there?
A Roman!
Casca, by your voice.
Your air is good, Cassius. What night is this?
A very pleasing night to honest men.
Whoever can do the heavens menace so?
You are dull, Casca, and those sparks of life that should be in a Roman you do want, or else you use not. But if you would consider the true cause, why all these fires? Why all these gliding goes? Why all these things change from their ordinance to monstrous quality? Why, you shall find that heaven hath infused them with these spirits to make them instruments of fear and warning. Now could I, Casca, name to thee a man most like this dreadful night, that thunders, lightens, opens graves, and roars. A man no mightier than thyself or me in personal action, but is yet prodigious grown, and is as fearful as these strange eruptions are.
'Tis Caesar that you mean, is it not, Cassius? Indeed, the senators mean tomorrow to establish Caesar as a king, and he shall wear his crown by sea and by land in every place, save here in Italy.
I know where I will wear this dagger then. Cassius from bondage will deliver Cassius. For life, being wary of these worldly bars, never lacks power to dismiss itself. And why should Caesar be a tyrant then? So vile a thing as Caesar! But oh, grief, where hast thou led me? I perhaps spake this to a willing bondman.
You spake to Casca, and to such a man that is no fleering telltale. Give me your hand, and I will set this foot of mine as far as who goes farthest.
There's a bargain made. But come, Casca, you and I will yet ere day see Brutus at his house. 3 parts of him is ours already, and the man entire upon the next encounter yields him ours.
Yes, it's high in all the people's hearts.
Him and his great worth you have right well conceited. But let us go, for it is after midnight, and ere day we will awake him, and be sure of him.
Caesar. It must be by his death. For my part, I could know no personal cause to spurn at him, but for the general, he would be crowned. Crown him. That. And then I grant we put a sting in him, that at his will he may do danger with. The abuse of greatness is when it disjoins remorse from poor. And to speak truth of Caesar, I've not known when his affections swayed more than his reason. But 'tis a common proof that lowliness is young ambition's ladder, whereto the climber upward turns his face. But when he once attains the upmost rund, he then unto the ladder turns his back, looks in the clouds, scorning the base degrees by which he did ascend. So Caesar may. Then, lest he may prevent, and since the quarrel will bear no colour for the thing he is, fashion it thus, that what he is augmented would run to these and these extremities. And therefore, think him as a serpent's egg, which hatched would, as his kind, grow mischievous and kill him in the shell. Brutus, thou sleepest awake. Speak, strike, redress. Am I entreated to speak and strike? Oh, Rome, I make thee promise. If the redress will follow, thou shalt have thy full petition at the hand of Brutus. Who could it be at this hour? Come! Between the acting of a dreadful thing and the first motion, all the interim is like a phantasma or a hideous strain.
Good morrow, Brutus. Do it trouble you?
Since you first did whet me against Caesar, I have not slept. Can I these men that come along with you?
Yes, every man, and no one here but honours you.
They're all welcome. Give me your hands, all over, one by one.
And let us swear our resolution.
No, not an oath. What need we any other bond than honest eye to honest eye engaged, that this shall be, and we will fall for it. Think not that our cause or performance did need an oath, when every drop of blood that every Roman bears, and nobly bears, is guilty of a several bastardy, if he do break the smallest particle of any promise that hath passed from him.
And need we more to join us? What of Cicero? Shall we sound him? I think he shall stand very strong with us.
Oh, name him not. Let us not brag with him, for he will never follow anything other men begin.
Indeed, he is not fit. Shall no man else be touched but only Caesar?
Casca, well urged. I do not think it made Mark Antony, so well beloved of Caesar, should outlive Caesar. We shall find of him a shrewd contriver. Let Antony and Caesar fall together.
Our course will seem too bloody, Caius Cassius, to cut the head off him and hack the limbs. For Antony is but a limb of Caesar. Let us be sacrificers, not butchers, Caius. Let's kill him boldly, not wrathfully. Let's carve him as a dish fit for the gods, not hew him as a carcass fit for hounds, which, so appearing to the common eye, we should be called purgers, not murderers. And as for Mark Antony, think none of him, for he can do no more than Caesar's arm when Caesar's head is off.
Yet I fear him, for the engrafted love he bears to Caesar.
Pace.
The clock has stricken 3.
'Tis time to part.
But it is doubtful yet whether Caesar will come forth tomorrow or no. He is superstitious grown of late. The unaccustomed terror of this night and the persuasion of his arguers may hold him from the capital today.
Never fear that. For if he be so resolved, I can oversway him. Let me work. I will give his humour the true bent, and I will bring him to the capital.
Nay, we will all of us be there to fetch him.
By the 8th hour, is that the uttermost?
Be that the uttermost, and fail not then.
The morning comes upon us. We'll leave you, Brutus. And friends, disperse yourselves. But I'll remember what you have said, and show yourselves true Romans.
Good gentlemen, look fresh and merrily. Let not our looks put on our purposes. And so good morrow to you, every one.
Brutus, my lord.
Portia, what mean you? Wherefore rise you now?
You've ungently, Brutus, stole from my bed. And yesternight at supper you suddenly arose and walked about, musing and sighing, with your arms across. And when I asked you what the matter was, you stared upon me with ungentle looks. Yet I insisted, yet you answered not, but with an angry wafture of your hand gave sign for me to leave you. So I did, fearing to strengthen that impatience which sometime hath this aura with every man. It will not let you eat, nor talk, nor sleep. Dear my lord, make me acquainted with your cause of grief.
I am not well in health, and that is all.
Is Brutus sick? And is it physical to walk unbraced and suck up the humours of the dank morning? What, is Brutus sick? And will he steal out of his wholesome bed and dare the vile contagion of the night to add unto his sickness? Oh, my Brutus, you have some sick offence within your mind. And upon my knees, I charm you by my once commended beauty, by all the vows of love that you unfold to me, yourself, your half. Why you are heavy, and what men tonight have had resort to you? For here have been some 6 or 7 who did hide their faces even from darkness.
Kneel not, gentle Portia.
I should not need if you were gentle, Brutus. Within the bond of marriage, tell me, Brutus, is it accepted I should know no secrets that pertain to you? Am I yourself but, as it were, in sort or limitation, keep with you at meals, comfort your bed, and talk to you sometimes? Dwell I but in the suburbs of your good pleasure. If it be no more, Portia is Brutus' harlot, not his wife.